Hello, I'm Louise Harris from Last Research and Editing and Christian Marketing Experts. And this week on The Last Word, we're going to be talking about defeat and how to overcome it. So let's get started. I have been watching the highlights of the Olympics. I don't watch everything, but the several U.S. Olympians have had tragedy. For example, the male figure skater who is nicknamed the Quad God was expected to win gold. He was way ahead after the short program, and then the long program happens, and he falls twice. He turns a quadruple into single, and he turns a quadruple into a double. And he couldn't get past that. So he ended up in eighth place. It was a shock to everybody in the skating community. It was a shock to the news media, and it was probably a shock to his family and friends as well. And I'm sure that he was like kicking himself, like, why did I do this? And how could I have not not done my best? So it made me think about small business owners and when they're hit with a defeat, what should they do? In most cases, if it's a small defeat, you can say, okay, I didn't get that contract. I wasn't happy with my proposal. I'll just move on to the next proposal. But when it's a big defeat, for example, it's a several $100,000 contract that you don't get, or you think that you are about to win something and then they just pull the rug out from under you and they go with someone else. It's really hard not to take that personally, especially if it's something you really, really want and then you don't get it and it's a big defeat. So how do you overcome that sense of, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me feeling? Well, I would say just get right back on the horse, but it's not always easy to do. For example, Lindsey Vonn crashed on her skiing run, and then she ended up breaking her tibia, and she was in the hospital for emergency surgery. So you can't always just get back on a horse. What a lot of coaches will tell you to do is deal with those feelings, but figure out why something happened or didn't happen. Once you figure out why something happens or why something doesn't happen, then you are more likely to figure out a plan for moving forward. But that is actually the best option for you. If you are hit with a really bad defeat, sit down, figure out why you were defeated, and come up with a reasonable plan, a reasonable actionable items that you can move forward and maybe land the next one. Sometimes people will say it's a mindset thing, that you were being negative, and so that negative energy enveloped your head and then you couldn't win the big contract. In some cases, you do everything right and you still are defeated. So it's not necessarily a mindset thing, but you should, as a business owner, sit down, figure out why something happened or didn't happen, and then move on and come up with a plan that'll help you get past that defeat. If you are watching and have subscribed, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. It does help with brand awareness uh, and the YouTube ranking. And I'm telling you that some of my work here is actually working because I apparently am showing up in search engines and people are finding me. And I don't do a whole lot to promote my own search engine optimization. If you have not subscribed and are watching, please do subscribe because it does actually help. And if you're one of those people that want to help small business owners, this is a small way that you can help me by subscribing and sharing it to your fellow business owners. Thank you for watching. Visit my websites, www.lastresearchandediting.com, www.christianmarketingexperts.com, www.amazon.com/author/Louise Harris. And because Valentine's Day was yesterday, I will say, all my books are romance, but I specifically have one set on in February for Valentine's Day, and that is 1776 Musket. So go to my author page and buy some books. Get the one that's related to Valentine's Day. And I will end with Happy President's Day, and don't worry, be happy.